Hey everyone, it's TheSandov, and the time has finally come to take a look at all the current available classes in the game and how they rank up against each other. This tier list will compare all 16 classes available in our version with an engraving setup of 333. As for classes that only require their class engraving to level 1, it'll be 3331. This setup is affordable by everyone, and it'll be good even on Bolton's release. Also, before I begin, I do want to mention that there is no bad classes in Lost Ark. Realistically speaking, a low tier class can outdamage a top tier class. The real tier list is the player behind the class. I'm also gonna be leaving the supports for the end of the video. So with that being said, let's begin with the warriors. First in line, we've got the Berserker. Mayhem Berserker will be placed in the S tier, and Berserker's technique will be placed on the B tier. Mayhem Berserker is just powerful all around. He brings a lot of damage to the table while having that attack speed and movement speed permanently. On top of that, his HP can be healed from 0 to 100 with 1 green potion. This is the equivalent of using 2 blue potions on any other class. He can also use Nature's Elementals plus We'll Meet Again card sets to decrease damage taken by 20% at all times. Berserker's technique is not too bad, however, when compared to Mayhem, it is outclassed. Having to build spec, meanwhile Mayhem can just go for more speed and critical and keep these buffs active at all times. Next we have the Gunlancer. Blue Gunlancer will be placed in the S tier, and Red Gunlancer will be placed in the A tier. The Blue Gunlancer is the safest pick in the game as it is filled with defense and shields, also super armors. The Blue Gunlancer can constantly put out damage while face tanking everything on its way. There is no stopping him. He can also ignore some boss mechanics and provide shields for his team. The Red Gunlancer is also a strong pick overall, having bigger numbers than Blue Lancer. However, it is much harder to play since the shield drains much faster, and having no mobility does not help a whole lot. Alright, now we move on to the Mage. Only the Sorceress is available at the moment. Both Igniter and Reflux Sorceress will be placed on the A tier. Both of these class engravings are in a good spot. Igniter focuses and deals insane damage on that burst window. The one downside is mobility. Having to dodge using Identity Gauge really hurts her DPS. However, being fully ranged, she can output damage safely from a distance. Reflux has a lot more mobility since she can use the teleport whenever without worry. Also spamming skills safely from a distance, dealing great consistent damage. Sorceress is a great class overall. Let's now switch over to the martial artists. First in line, we've got the Scrapper. Shock Scrapper and Taijutsu Scrapper will be placed in the B tier. Scrapper is heavily focused on back attacking and is quite a balanced class overall. Nothing too over the top and nothing underwhelming either. Taijutsu is quite fast, mobile, and deals nice consistent damage while having low cooldowns and high destructions with stagger. Shock on the other hand is the slower version, however Shock still has good mobility and deals bigger numbers while having higher cooldowns. Next we've got the Soulfist. We'll be placing both Robust Spirit and Energy Overflow in the B tier. Just like Scrapper, the Soulfist has 2 playstyles. One is consistent damage and fast moving, while the other one is just a bit slower with bigger numbers. The issue with Robust Spirit is missing your Awakening skill, as a lot of the damage from Soulfist does come from this Awakening and is quite difficult to land. Energy Overflow has an easier time since they do not rely too heavily on landing the Awakening. Also, they don't have to worry about spamming skills since there is no energy management and can just go all out anytime. On to the Wardancer. Both Esoteric Enhancement and First Intention will be placed on the C tier. The Wardancer is definitely in a very interesting spot at the moment. She's quite underwhelming no matter how you play her. As a Wardancer, you require many things that will set this class to be great in the future, such as set effects, hard to acquire runes, and high level tripods, plus more engravings than just the 3. With the current state of the game, Wardancer struggles hard with damage. First Intention also has a hard time with mana management. This is one class that just gets better and better with time, and it'll without a doubt pay off in the future. Next is the new class, the Glaivier. We'll be placing both Pinnacle and Control in the A tier. Glaivier is a solid character overall, with Pinnacle not having to worry about building crit and having 100% crit on her strong skills. She can dish out high DPS in small periods of time. Control is also great. High movement and easy to use, can deal high DPS due to the engraving giving all blue skills a significant boost in damage. Last for the martial artist is the Striker. Both Esoteric Flurry and Deathblow will be placed on the B tier. Currently, Esoteric Flurry is a great choice for Striker since it does not require much to shine. But in the later stages of the game, Deathblow outdamages Esoteric Flurry. Deathblow requires many high quality wealth runes to really shine, since to get the most out of it you need to max out all 4 orbs and then unleash the high damage skill. Striker is heavily reliant on back attacks, and having the strongest skill go through the boss makes it harder to keep the damage consistent. Let's now go to the gunners. First in line is the Deadeye. Enhanced Weapon Deadeye will be placed in the B tier and Pistolier Deadeye will be placed in the C tier. Enhanced Weapon Deadeye does have the potential to deal high numbers. However, there is way too many things that could go wrong and totally ruin the damage. Having to not only back attack, but having to be kissing the boss at all times for maximum damage. The boss moving 1 centimeter means losing half your damage. Pistolier is much easier to use and can outdamage Enhanced Weapon due to the fact that they don't really have to focus on back attacking much, just to spam skills and hit the boss with range. However, when both are played perfectly, Pistolier does not match Enhanced Weapon. Next is the Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter is an interesting one since he can use both his class engravings, or single engravings. Both Deathstrike and Loyal Companion will be placed on the A tier. Sharpshooter is an insanely safe class to play, has nice mobility, and can put out huge damage numbers from across the screen. Doesn't matter if you pick both or any engraving. As a Sharpshooter, there is no bad picks. It is a squishy class, and to get most out of it, some skills have you moving right into the boss and potentially put you in danger. But overall, a solid character that will put damage out from anywhere. On to the Artillerist. We'll be placing Firepower Enhancement Artillerist on the A tier. The reason I'm not gonna be talking about the Barrage Enhancement is because it is not viable by itself. Instead, it is recommended to have both engravings with Barrage Enhancement at level 1. The Artillerist is a high damage dealing class that is surprisingly tanky due to the class engraving, as well as having multiple high HP shields with push immunity being long lasting. He also does not require to build much crit, and he can take advantage of the Keen Blunt engraving since Firepower Enhancement will grant 40% crit at max level. High damage numbers with the downside being mobility, and could potentially be caught off guard in the stationary mode. Last on the gunners is the Gunslinger. Peacekeeper Gunslinger will be placed in the S tier, Time to Hunt will be placed in the B tier. The Gunslinger is currently crazy strong and does not require much to put out crazy numbers from a distance. Peacekeeper can also be taken advantage of at just level 1, meaning the other engravings can be full on damage. She's safe to play and has tons of skills that do high damage, high mobility as well. Time to Hunt will disable shotgun skills but give out a higher critical chance. It is not as bad as it sounds, however these 4 extra skills do quite some damage, and disabling them do hurt the damage overall. The downside of the Gunslinger is some rifle skills do have you locked into place and could bring trouble since the Gunslinger is quite squishy as well. And last we've got the Assassins. First we'll talk about the Deathblade. Surge Deathblade will go right into the OP tier, and remaining energy will be placed in the S tier. Deathblade is currently on another level of damage. Both builds are incredibly strong, and even Surge Deathblades at item level 1370 can outdamage a few 14-15 classes. They can deal incredibly high numbers frequently. Surge can do more damage in one skill than most classes with their awakening. And remaining energy can also do frequent high numbers. Not as high as Surge, but can spam a lot more. With the right wealth runes, Deathblade has no downsides. Deathblade relies on back attacks but has a skill that can position you right into the backside with ease. So overall, Deathblade solid. And now the Shadowhunter. Both class engravings will be placed in the A tier. There's no wrong with Shadowhunter. Both engravings do just as much damage. Demonic Impulse only needs 2 gems to shine, and those 2 gems will affect every single demonic skill damage and cooldown. focusing on transformation and spamming everything available in demon form. Perfect Suppression is heavily underplayed, but its damage output is just as good as Demonic Impulse. Also only requires a level 1 engraving, so you can push out for more damage on the other 3 engravings. Alright, now the support classes. The Bard and Paladin both will go right into the OP tier. I've seen the current state of the game and people will wait hours if it means they can have a support in their party. They'll even go as far as taking heavily underleveled and undergeared supports. And this is no surprise, since supports do make a huge difference in parties, especially in raids, and they will 100% be necessary from now on. Okay everyone, just like I said in the beginning of the video, this tier list is how the classes currently compare with each other. But it does not mean a Surge Deathblade will always outdamage a Deadeye. The player behind the class is the real tier list. The classes in Lost Ark are pretty balanced and they'll all do great when played right. Let me know your thoughts about the tier list down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, I'll see you next time.